In this video we are going to be covering the sound control or the audio for the room, and if you look here at ATEN theme you'll find the sound button here, and as you can see it is linked at the bottom to the sound page. And if we go to the sound page on the left hand side, you can see how the sound page look like. I can again create a label and call it sound or call it audio if you want, and then I can start going into adding commands to those different buttons available on the page. Now again, those commands will be specified in the audio mixer user manual, or like the DSP user manual, as well as like the audio amplifier. There are, in the case of audio amplifiers, DSPs and audio mixers, devices that works with serial control, and other devices which work with Ethernet control, such as TCP commands. So in this case we configured our audio mixer as a LAN control using TCP protocol, and then if you click on it here, it will show here the function. You can add ASCII or hexa commands, and in this case our audio mixer here supports ASCII commands. So to add the commands, again you have to double click here. It will show here in the command list, and you can double click and write the command that is usually available in the user manual or the documentation for the device you're controlling. And in this case I want to send the commands for muting, which looks something like this. Now I can execute the command and test it and see whether it's gonna mute the mixer or not, and then move on to the next command. This one, for example, is gonna set the audio level at 0 dB, so I can also specify here like the command that will recall that volume on the audio mixer, and so on. You can go with the rest of the buttons, and again, as soon as you finish the commands for each and every button, you can actually radio group them, so you can know exactly where is the button that is chosen and at what volume level you are. Another thing we can do, again like we did in the page for the lighting system, we can add a slide bar. We can change the slide bar, for example here, to vertical, such as so, and then I can specify the color again to match the page I'm working on. And then I can set the level here, for example, to 5 levels, so we'll make it a little bit different from the light dimming. And then again, if you go here, you will find the same 5 levels that you created. You press on each level and then specify the command for it. One thing we can do is we can actually copy commands from other buttons and move them here. So for example, if level 1 will be the same as muting, I can just go here and Control C, I copy the command and go here, and then I can actually Control V and paste the command here. I can do that with each and every level that is available on this page until I finish the 5 levels for the slider. The last thing we want to cover here is another function of adding the button and choosing a different mode for the button. So for instance, when you are using a remote control and you volume up or down, you keep pressing on the volume up until you reach to the volume you want, and then you release it, and then it will stop increasing the volume. To do so, we can add a button here and, for example, call it volume up, and I can resize it here, and here I need to choose the mode to be long press. Now long press, what it will do, it will keep sending the same exact command of volume up until you release the button, and it will stop sending it. It's an ideal application for this mode of the button as long press. And also I need to create another button here to make it volume down. So in this case I'll create volume down. One thing we can do here that is already available on our page, if I go to object here, I can make the two buttons the same size instantly. I can also align them, whether to the top, to the left, to the center, and so on. So in this case, I have one down, one up. I can align them to the top, and the two will be perfectly aligned in the page. Now we can start here adding the command for volume up, and then I need to look for the command in the audio mixer user manual for volume up, and in this case it will look something like this. So I can also do that for volume down, and then with the long press functionality, it will allow you to keep pressing on the button to increase the volume, and when you reach it stop increasing the volume. The same thing will happen with long press here. We'll do the same thing for the volume down. Now you can see here on the right you have send command every, and that is the interval where you'll have to send command as much as you're pressing on the button. So I can actually set the interval so that I can send the command every 0.3 seconds and so on until 1 second. In this video we covered first adding commands for different buttons, adding the slide bar, as well as adding buttons and putting them in long press mode. We also covered the object and how to align them or make them the same size or even space them evenly throughout the page.